the hell was that?
So I just watched Resident Evil Vendetta, and Resident Evil Vendetta is the third CGI movie based on the Resident Evil franchise by Capcom. Before this one, we had two movies with Leon S. Kennedy as the protagonist. But in this one, we have Chris Redfield in the lead as the protagonist, Leon S. Kennedy as a side character, and Rebecca Chambers, who I've never seen since Resident Evil 0. But before we get into this, let me give you a quick summary on the other two movies. If you guys hate the live action versions, you're definitely gonna love the CG versions. I highly recommend that you check them out if you haven't seen them yet. The first one is Resident Evil Degeneration. It's not perfect, but it had many suspenseful moments. And if you're a fan of Claire Redfield, you're definitely gonna love this movie. The second one is Damnation. This one is my favorite. It has great character development, awesome moments, and great action. This one feels like a mix between Resident Evil 4 and 5. And in this one we have Ada Wong. These CG movies serves as world building, cause they are canon to the source material. So you can't imagine how excited I was when they announced Resident Evil Vendetta back in 2017. Not just for the movie, but also because the Resident Evil games have gone into a complete new direction with Resident Evil 7. These games have always been about the characters: Leon, Chris, Claire, Barry, Jill, Ada, Ashley, and Rebecca, and many others. So when I heard Resident Evil 7 is not gonna have any of these characters, I lost interest immediately. I have nothing against RE7, but the fact that this game did worse financially is a good indication that the fans want to play with their favorite characters. Resident Evil is not just about horror, it's also about these awesome characters that we grew up with since Resident Evil 1. This is why many people are excited about the remake. But anyways, once they announced Resident Evil Vendetta, I was so excited. I had hope that these characters are not gone for good. I never watched the movie until now because I had some personal issues. It's nothing too serious, but after 2 years, I finally watched the movie. So, what am I thought on the movie? Well,
that's horse shit! And I didn't say horse shit, I said whore shit. Like a whore taking a shit!
This movie is complete garbage. I can't believe how much of a fucking mess this movie is. From the nonsensical direction of the story to the terrible plot, everything about this movie is horrible. I cannot fathom how much I hate this movie. I hate it more than the live action movies. At least with the live action versions, you can turn off your brain and enjoy the action. This movie, however, is canon to the source material, so you know everything is happening here will affect the story somehow. Let me explain why this movie is bad. So the movie's opening scene is Leon walking into a morgue while we see some dead bodies coming back to life while he monologues about his childhood. And what does this have to do with the movie? Absolutely nothing. Then we cut to Chris in a chopper headed off to rescue one of his BSAA members who went missing in an undercover mission with her son to investigate. You know, I don't think they ever told us what they were investigating. Maybe? I don't really care.
Fuck you, asshole.
Anyways, they head into a mansion in the middle of the woods, which resembled the Spencer mansions from Resident Evil 1 a lot. But after RE5 and Revelations 2, this is not an impressive homage anymore. It's blown up as much as the head turning homage, which also feature in this movie. So they head inside and shocker, everyone dies except for Chris, cause he's the main character.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Fuck this.
It's a trap!
Tis but a scratch. A scratch? Your arm's off. No, it isn't. Well, what's that then? I've heard worse. You liar! Come on, you pansy!
I believe I can. Oh shit. Then we meet the bad guy of the movie, Albert West. Sorry, I mean Glenn Aries. But seriously, all he's missing is the glasses.
How disappointing.
He's a weapon smuggler, but after a failed assassination attempt at his wedding, he created a virus to, you guessed it, take over the world.
Of course!
He revealed that he captured and infected a BSAA agent and her son with a new virus that can control zombies and make them attack specific targets. He then leaves, and as the zombies approach Chris, he gets saved at the last minute by the chopper. And we get this amazing scene. We then cut to Rebecca Chambers, who lived the life of fighting zombies, to become a medical professor. And I can understand why. Hey, after the shit she dealt with in Zero, it's no wonder why she left the franchise.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Her lab was set to investigate some random zombie incidents in the US and discovered a vaccine for the virus. But before she tests the vaccine, the lab gets attacked by one of the bad guys' henchmen, Barbed Wire.
Don't call me babe.
So Rebecca rushed to inject herself with the vaccine, and lucky for her, it worked. But the facility is now filled with zombies, and she has no weapon to protect herself. But Chris shows up at the last minute to save her. He tells Rebecca that he came to ask for her help. She's the only one who knows how the virus works. So Chris explained to Rebecca that Glenn collected research from Tricell and New Umbrella. So yeah, this movie takes place after RE6. And Rebecca explained to Chris that the virus is close in relation to the parasite used by the Los Illuminados cult. Remember them? The guys from Resident Evil 4. This gives us the only reason why Leon exists in this movie. Oh yeah, did I mention Leon was in this movie? Don't worry, even I forgot while writing this review.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
So while they're heading to meet Leon, we get this.
The assholes we're after, they treat life and death like they shooting craps. Bunch of dicks.
Hey, I just realized DC and Damien aren't talking about Breaking Bad for once.
Hey, don't go there, Chris.
Yo, that shit's ahead of its time.
It's a goddamn masterpiece.
Everybody got that?
So they find Leon, and I can't help but to notice that there's something familiar about this scene.
I got a job. We need your help.
I'm on vacation. That's so long ago, I don't remember.
So what? You just gonna sit around here another week and do nothing?
Hey, another bottle here. Okay, who the hell...
Enough! All right?
What do you want, Redfield?
What do you want, Leon? Cut the shit.
Yeah, if you haven't guessed it by now, the writers have copied the exact same plot story that Chris had in Resident Evil 6.
Never thought I'd find Chris Redfield wasting away in a shithole like this.
Who the hell are you?
Piers Nibbins?
Never heard of you.
How about this? You heard of this? You can't hide from your past, Chris. No matter where you go or what you do. But how about them? Look. I said look! Those were your men! Men who died under your command! You owe it to them to remember, Chris!
You know that bomb that went off in DC? It was my mission to stop the terrorists. And some asshole ratted us out. The bomb went off, and everyone on Metro SWAT. My whole unit. Gone.
Why? Why give him Chris' story? I mean, for Chris it made sense, but Leon?
give a damn. Rain or shine, you're going down.
I'm sure you boys didn't just tag along so we could sing Kumbaya together at some Boy Scout bonfire. Then again, maybe you did.
I'm gonna scrub this virus from the face of the earth.
Scarecrow, I'm the Tin Man. Can you talk? I need to know the connection between the anti-government forces and the BOWs. I guess scarecrows aren't exactly known for their rousing conversation.
I think they gave him this backstory as an excuse just to have him in the movie, cause he serves nothing to the plot. He doesn't even give them any background on the cult. Once they make it to him, they literally axe off this plot point.
How disappointing.
Let me explain something to the writers. This story fit Chris's character very well because Chris is a soldier, and we got to see the pain he went through as well as we spent some time with the unit that he lost. As much as people don't want to admit that story made sense. You don't have to like it. However, we get none of that with Leon. The only thing we get is some exposition, and we give no fucks about what he's dealing with. This scene is entirely pointless.
How disappointing.
Also, we get this original scene.
Is this what my life's supposed to be? Fighting the living dead and the bastards that make them? What's the point of it all? Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
So Rebecca head to the bathroom and get kidnapped by barbed wire, and the guy who ratted out Leon's crew shows up to ask for his help, and we found out that he did it because they hold his family hostage. Just before they get more information from him, Jason X shows up with a machine gun and attack Chris and Leon. Chris sees that they kidnap Rebecca and take her to Glenn's place. Leon then receives a phone call from the family that has been taken hostage.
Hi. I'm so scared. Selena misses her daddy. Patricio? Hello? Patricio? Mama? Who is this? Where's Patricio? Put my husband on the phone right.
And we never hear from them again. Yeah, Leon just forget they ever existed. So, why are they in the movie again?
Point out your plot holes elsewhere.
Anyway, after Glenn kidnapped Rebecca, she tells him that she figures out how these viruses work. So the virus is some sort of a dormant substance, and it can only be activated by chemical gas, just like the one we saw back at the lab. By inserting it inside water bottles, they were able to distribute the virus across the US. Then the virus is triggered through the chemical gas that gets spread through the city. You know what? I'll let you guys figure out how stupid of a plan this is. There's a lot of common shit to deal with that is more important than this crap. For example, the reason why Glenn kidnapped Rebecca is so stupid I can't even understand why they thought it was a good idea. Why? Why have it in the movie? Are you ready? Are you ready? The reason why Glenn kidnapped Rebecca is so he can marry her because she resembled his dead wife. You have got to be fucking kidding me. This scene is so terrible, I lost my fucking shit. Claim your price, man. Claim your price. You are the worst Resident Evil villain ever.
How disappointing.
And believe it or not, it gets stupider from here on out. So after Glenn wants Rebecca to be his waifu, Chris and Leon figure out where Glenn is hiding out. And thanks to Rebecca's research, they also understand how the virus works. So they head to New York where Glenn is at and stop the gas from spreading to the city. Here Leon is followed by two Cerberus and his motorcycle. And this is it. This is it, guys. This is the scene that pissed me off to no extent. But before we get into this, let me explain something real quick. The gas tanks has just started turning people into zombies. It hasn't spread into the entire city yet. Meaning that everyone you see in the highway right now are humans. These are people driving their cars, going to their work, not knowing anything happening around them. And some of them are potentially families. There could be children in these cars. Keep that in mind. So Leon is trying to outspeed these dogs, and somehow they manage to follow him even though that he's driving a motorcycle. He does some cool shit, and then
What the fuck?
our hero, ladies and gentlemen.
And I'm gonna marry Donald Trump.
Who thought this was a good idea? Leon! What the fuck?
I've sent my right hand to dispose of you.
Your right hand comes off?
This is the Leon who was torn apart after he lost his unit, by the way.
Bomb went off, and everyone on Metro SWAT. My whole unit, gone. It was my mission to stop the terrorists.
How can you animate this scene and think it's a good idea to keep it in? How stupid do you have to be to let something like this happen? And believe it or not, this is nothing compared to what's coming next.
How disappointing.
So Chris makes it to Glenn's hideout, which is a tower for some reason, because fuck logic. Then Glenn tells him that he captured Rebecca and he injected her with the virus, and he only got 20 minutes to save her. Yeah, if you haven't noticed by now, Rebecca was rendered off to be nothing but literally a damsel in distress.
How disappointing.
So the clock is ticking and Rebecca's life is in danger, and Chris trying to do everything in his power to save her. And we get the best scene in the movie.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
I have nothing to say here. This scene is brilliant. The tension, the adrenaline rush, the choreography, everything is amazing. I heard this scene was inspired by John Wick, and I can see how, and I love it. I think what made this scene so great is the fact that Chris and Leon don't have any other options but to push through, because they can't be late. Rebecca's life is on the line, so they endanger themselves by fighting the zombies up close. My only issue with this scene, however, is that it outstays its welcome, and after a while you lose tension. I think it would have been a lot better if it was shorter. It also doesn't help that our suspense of disbelief can't stretch further, as we see Leon shoot like 30 bullets from a pistol with the maximum round of 9 to 15 bullets with no reload. If you are a hardcore Resident Evil fan, you would know that handguns don't last that long, but that's just nitpicking. Still amazing scene though.
Good job.
So after that, Chris finds Rebecca and Jason X shows up and start roughing Chris up. After that, he gets one-shotted by a flame grenade that doesn't explode like a flame grenade for some reason. It was like he spontaneously combusted or something. Speaking of which, where was this when he was surrounded by a herd of zombies earlier?
Point out your plot holes elsewhere.
Moving on, he rescues Rebecca and takes her to the rooftop, and to his surprise, Glenn is there waiting. So the final battle starts, and we get one of the funniest fight scene in all of Resident Evil's history. Guys, forget the boulder punching scene. This is the funniest thing Chris ever did. They go around trying to aim at each other, and every time they miss. And they keep dodging each other's aims. And guys, I get that they're dodging the aiming, not the actual bullets. But what the fuck is this? still running in a circle for some reason. This is more funny than it's suspenseful.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered.
So after that Adam Sandler comedy, skinny wannabe Albert Wesker fanboy managed to shit on jacked up Chris. You figured out how that's possible.
How disappointing.
Then Chris throws him to the bottom of the tower, and for some fucking reason he's still alive. How can you survive that fall?
I knew you'd be fine if you landed on your butt.
Jason X shows up to Glenn, and he transforms into Nemesis and absorbs him for some reason, and then climbs back up to kill Chris. Then Leon finally figures out the camera left the hallway a long time ago, so he makes it to the rooftop to fight Glenn instead of Chris, who runs to find the antidote for Rebecca. To me, this is the part that made me realize these writers only focus on the action and not the suspenseful moments of the games. Look, I know at that point of time Resident Evil have become an action game, but it still has physics. It still kept tension. When you see a huge monster like this, you know the main characters are fucked, and their only way of survival is to escape. Look at Degeneration, look at Damnation, look at any Resident Evil game. But no, fuck that shit. Leon can go one-on-one with one of these things. They're not a threat anymore.
Bullshit! Bullshit!
Fuck this movie.
How disappointing.
Glenn finally grabs Leon, and the BSAA shows up with some sort of a futuristic weapon we've never seen before. I mean, what is it? It looks like a weapon from Dead Space. Why can't it be a rocket launcher like the rest of the games? Oh, and if you thought the movie jumped the shark with Leon's stunts earlier, you have seen nothing.
Help me! Help me! Nigga!
Does anybody care about human life in this fucking movie? They straight up killed 4,000 people and millions of property damage in the process. What the fuck is going on? Am I watching a Resident Evil movie or Man of Steel? The games had an excuse for main characters blowing shit up. They were in areas infected to the brink with zombies. But here, there are living civilians. These skyscrapers host living human beings who were probably told to stay at their apartments. And these assholes blow them up.
Who's the bad guy here?
Let's just get this pain over with. The credits are really close. Let me quickly wrap this up. Leon throws a bike at Glenn's face and blows it up. Chris kills him with a grenade. They save Rebecca. They fly into the sunset. Leon asks why was he in the movie. They cure the zombies and turn them back into humans. And they tease us with a sequel. The end. Wait, what? Hold on a second. They cure the zombies? How can you cure the zombies? What the hell is this fanfiction? Do you see why I'm pissed off? This is the worst Resident Evil movie I have ever watched. I really wanted to love this movie. It was the closest thing to a true continuation of Resident Evil 6. Yes, I love 6 and 5. You heard me. I love 5. So you think this movie is made for me, but you're wrong. The plot is fucking stupid, the story is horrible, even by Resident Evil standards, and the villain is wasted. Whatever little credit I give it, it's overshadowed by the stupid decisions that were made to this movie. I mean, yes, the action is fine, the characters are fun, the CGI is great. This is the best looking movie out of the 3. But the problem is everywhere else, and that's what ruined the movie. I give this movie a D. What a fucking waste. You know, they could have made this movie like the other two. Degeneration and Damnation took ideas from pre-Resident Evil games. They felt like great expansion of the universe. And this is what we wanted. We don't need new viruses. We don't need character arcs. We already know who these characters are. You don't have to create new things. Do what the Revelation series is doing. Expand on the mythology of the series. I'm tired of this. Anyways, thanks for watching my review, guys. I know it's 2 years late, but this is my first ever review and I love the franchise so much, and this had to be it. Subscribe if you want to see more of my content, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
It sucks ass. It sucks balls. It sucks ass balls.
No argue about that.
How disappointing.